All right. Let's see. I think this is going to work. I wanted to make a quick little video about how you can read and use the lead data that all your students have collected, all of really Winooski students have collected, and view those. Sorry, while I'm zooming around here, view those in a Google tool called My Maps. This is different from Google Maps. Unfortunately, they have a really bad name. But anyway, I'll walk you through it so it's a little less off-putting when you first start playing with it. All right, so here's the link up here. I've shared this in the email to you guys, and this is the title, the Winooski Environmental Justice Map. This is a little descriptor in here. It's been viewed by 280 people. On the left-hand side here is where we have our kind of our layers. And a GIS, this is a type of geographic information system, or GIS. We can layer different information. Right now, all it has is our lead data for soils. Still waiting on the water data. I'm pestering UVM, hope to get that soon. When you get to the top, you'll see that there are these various, little titles with check marks in there, and you can click those on. And let me close this stuff, and you'll see, I'm going to back out a little bit here just for a sec. This is Winooski, the town of Winooski. You can move it around. There's Burlington, Lake Champlain. So you can get kind of situated to the level you're more familiar with. There are a couple tools up here which we'll really not play with. And I'll turn off all of the data except for Rebecca and Caitlin's. So this is the results from the samples we've collected, or you guys have had your students collect. If we zoom in a little bit, you can see the school. Here's the track. Somebody got a sample out here, right behind the school. I think this is Franklin Street. And then most of the samples came kind of down here towards East Allen. Just for reference, here's the roundabout right down here, hidden under the Highway 2 sign. And what you'll see is I've ranked these values by a color scheme. And this is sort of arbitrary. I've tried to split them for each pod into a 4-level sorting, and the computer automatically splits these up. So it's not the best, but I don't have a way to really hardwire this. The upshot is the really dark ones are the highest ones. I've tried to get all of these above the 400 part per million safety standard for lead in soils. So this one, if you click on it, you'll get the address, 33 Mallets Bay Ave. This is the sample ID. It had this value, 456.67 parts per million. This error in the value, the way they arrived this, they take the soil bag, they zap it with this X-ray device, and I think they move it around and get 3 different samples. So the variation in this value is plus or minus 25 parts per million. So the bigger this is, the less reliable the value is. This is pretty good. So you could talk about that with students. These are all these other ones, color-wise, are just very low values in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. Those are all very safe. So you might infer that there's not as much of a problem there. Likewise, you can look at the error. This sample up outside of Franklin had only 31 parts per million ppm lead, and the error was quite low. So we can feel very precise about that. That value is very precise in measurement. There's not a whole lot of variability in that sample. So whoever collected samples, you could say if their error is kind of low, they did a really good job, or their homes are kind of homogeneous. All right, so that's one kind of discussion you could have. There's not a whole lot of there because you guys only have 6 samples, but that's okay because your pod, you have the benefit, the luxury of being at the end. So you can look, if I go over here, I'll turn on pod A7 and 8. These are the seniors. They sampled around Landry Park and they sampled around the school playgrounds. It doesn't quite map out. They didn't find really any problem in areas where children play, so that was good. Pod A1 and 2, Becky and Jess's pods, they, again, there's 4 different color levels, and if you move along them, they'll highlight them, and you'll see that the highest ones, again, are in this darkish reddish maroon or almost brown color. They seem to be clustered a lot towards the kind of down, I don't know, southern part of Winooski. This area seems to be having the highest incidence of high lead values. And then Lindsay and my pod, if we add them as well, they were very tightly clustered right down here. So you could kind of start playing around with some hypotheses, and you might assume like, okay, maybe this part of Winooski, we seem to be getting a lot down in this area. I don't know why. Maybe this is older construction. It definitely seems to be much less concentration, much lower concentrations rather, the further away you move from the center of Winooski town. And next semester, I hope to get some students to actually start looking at ages and correlating ages with concentration and see if that holds up. Ages of properties, that is. All right, so there you go. I've shared this with you guys in the view capacity. I don't think you can screw it up, so don't worry about it. Up here, you could also preview this if you click on the eyeball button. This would be if you wanted, eventually we might want to share this out in a public way. And Maps, My Maps creates kind of like a Google website-y type of format where you could click on an individual location. This could use some work. It gives you the concentration, the address. I've tried really hard not to have any student identifying information here. And eventually we could put photographs or other descriptors if students wanted to go that way. So this might be something we can build upon for a end of year kind of GXE type of work. All right, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed that.